welcome to Beautify Inside Out. We are recording here onto YouTube and also to my podcast. And I'm so delighted to introduce you to one of my mentors, one of my first teachers of Ayurveda. It's Dr. Chitra Eder. Welcome, Chitra.
Thank you
I'm
for
so
having me. It's so exciting to be here with you. We've known
I
each
feel
other
the
for
same
how long
way.
now?
Since 2017. And I just feel so honored that you said that you would do this with me because I know you're so busy starting your own retreat center clinic in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and you have this event happening in October, a Panchakarma event. Maybe you could introduce yourself and share a little bit about that first, and then we'll go in deeper to how you beautify yourself and share Ayurveda with so many people.
Sure. So my name is Chitra, and let's start it off with how did I get this name? So hi, so my name is Chitra, and let me help you pronounce it because it's a different kind of a name. It's Chi, and then Tra. Simple, easy. It was given to me by Dr. Ladd when I went to the Ayurvedic Institute, and I now use it, and it's become home to me. So I'm a doctor of Ayurveda, and my specialty is in women's health, specifically perimenopause through postmenopausal health. And I decided to specialize in that because women's health isn't really talked about very much. Support is sometimes non-existent. Sometimes we just get tossed. Most of the research in the medical world is based on men, and even in the world of Ayurveda, older women kind of get sidelined because the focus is usually on the other parts of our lives, having babies, postpartum, prepartum, all of the things around having a baby, which in traditional systems, that was a challenge, huge challenge. It's a very important part of our lives, but it's not all of our lives in any way, shape, or means. And as we hit perimenopause to menopause, our bodies start changing. And this has not been talked about. We haven't been supported in it. Even doctors, gynecologists have maybe 2 hours worth of training in it, and they will tell you that. So that's not coming from me. So I decided what better way to support women who are going to be living at least 40, 50 years, a majority of their life in this stage of life, to get them to do whatever it is that they need to do once the kids are gone, once they are able to be fully present within themselves.
Oh, that's wonderful. I also work with menopausal women, perimenopausal women, and in this work, I have had my own discoveries having gone through perimenopause, but also really finding that this time can be about another kind of creation. I feel like those early years are about adolescence, creativity, and then we have that potentiality of giving life, and then the potential returns back to you, which can be really exciting, quite honestly, once you wrap your head around all of the signs and symptoms that can be hard for some people.
Exactly. So that's a little bit about me, of what I do now. In the past, I have translated and edited the Ashtanga Hridayam, which is one of the three great texts of Ayurveda, with a Dr. Sanjay Pisharodi, who is unfortunately no longer with us. But that's how I met you, was through that particular, we were doing a study group. And I remember you
Mhm.
were so involved with your kids all the time, and you were like super mom.
Oh my gosh. Well, I learned about the opportunity having just finished a digestive health course around Ayurveda, having a certification, and the ending feeling like I thought this would be all I needed to do. And then it's like, hi, you just studied the study of life. Like it goes on and on and on. And when I was invited and learned about this group, I thought, wow, this would be really helpful because learning the sounds of Sanskrit and then going to that deeper level around the exact meaning of the Ashtanga, I I just felt like I needed to do it. I don't know. I just sometimes you just decide, yes, I have to do it. And I was a small part of it. But like you said, I had little kids at the time, and I feel like I didn't get as much out of it as I could have. But I still have the Ashtanga. I still Haradayam, Haradayam. Uh,
Yeah.
thank you, Haradayam,
It's so challenging because there are some sounds
Haradayam.
that are just not in the English language, and it doesn't have vowels between them. So
Right, Haradayam. Is that
there
right?
you go.
Haradayam.
Perfect. Yay.
So it's still in my yoga literature that I go to, and I love it. I feel like your translation project was so powerful for everyone who studies Ayurveda. So I just want to thank you and Dr. Sanjay. Your whatever was meant there happened, and it was so very powerful, and I appreciate it very much.
And I appreciate you saying that. That translation, I think, informed a lot of the work that I do today within Ayurveda. Because what we tried to do there was we tried to make it is the science of life. Ayurveda is the science of life. And here in the United States, we have a particular angle on life and what stress is and what food is and what family life is like and all of these things. And and so a lot of times Ayurveda is challenging for an American woman, or uh, to follow. There could be just too much. Like you had gone through a phase where you had all these responsibilities with your family, and perhaps you weren't able to cook in the manner that you wanted to cook for Ayurveda, but you know so my job now is to take all of those teachings of Ayurveda and to translate them for the modern American woman, so that if if her job takes her to go out for dinner or lunch all the time and she cannot cook for herself, what are the things that she can do to assist, so that she doesn't feel like she's completely off the path? And so there are many, many little things that can be done to help with that, so that you can still maintain your practice of Ayurveda, of your dinacharya,
Mhm.
as well as live a full life that is either expected of you here or that you want to. Because if you're anything like me, I don't want to hide myself and eat every single meal at home, Indian food, no less.
Mhm. Sounds good to me.
Which is yummy. And there are so many other cuisines that I truly, truly enjoy. And how do I make those things Ayurvedic? And how do I make them part of my Ayurveda dinacharya, which is the daily routine or seasonal routine and things like that. So
Mhm.
that's what I've learned through that process. And now I translate that into my work today.
Oh my gosh, it's so wonderful. I also translate Ayurvedic lifestyle for the people I work with, mostly women. And what I love about where I'm located in California is we have access to so many fresh seasonal produce. So I really fall into Dinacharya and Richacharya in my teachings, and that I want to thank you for teaching me about how to do that because it has helped so many people. Like you've helped people through me. I did study, I did listen. I had to do a lot of the recording of the videos when we had that class, and then the multiple seasons after that. But I did take in a lot of good wisdom, and I'm still studying to this day. So it's wonderful what you've done and created is wonderful. I do want to mention that this group that Chitra and Sanjay created is now has transformed into several different groups in different ways of learning. So you fostered that creativity, and look at what you did. Think about the impact you're making.
You're gonna make me cry.
I
Actually, tears
well
are happening.
well I mean for I'm just one person who studied with you, and I it was that study that sealed off the intention that I had about learning Ayurveda. The digestive health part, I'm absolutely, just intrigued with. I think it's interesting. I needed it for myself. But then learning how to synthesize that with the foundational principles of the Ashtanga Hridayam.
Getting there. This is
Okay, I'm
good.
getting okay. Thank you. My Sanskrit's still a little rusty, but it's because of you. So I just want to thank you. And something that I felt compelled because when I started this podcast, I reached out to Chitra, and you were still immersed in your studies and like getting things sorted out. So we finally did this podcast. But the reason I wanted to connect with you is because I always felt this synergy with you. I just always was like, I just adore Chitra because in our teachings, in our lessons, and when it transformed into another group that we were in, I always felt your deep connection with the space you were in. I felt like I was learning about Ayurveda from your space. That sense of place is something that is very much a part of our health and wellness. And I just always was magnetized toward you. I was like, I've always felt like that too. And then Chitra was so kind to share like a background bio about herself. And then I learned about you're like before you started studying Ayurveda that you were always connected with like the energies around you. And I wanted to dive into that just a little bit. We don't have to go too deep into it, but I just resonate so much with you, and we haven't talked about that before. So I wanted to ask you if you were willing to share a little bit about that.
Absolutely. I think I think um, many women have this connection, and we simply don't talk about it. It's either woo woo or ignored, or but yeah. So where shall I start? So when I was young, I used to know things that I there was no reason for me to know. So that was like the first inkling of my intuition. And then, teenage years happened, and I disconnected with it, and it disconnected with me. And then later on, I came back, and I started discovering that I could sit in a forest and feel. So my type of intuition is more of a knowing rather than a seeing things or hearing things. I simply know, I simply connect with, as you said, my environment or with the people that I'm with. I rarely prepare or plan things. I'm the type of person who really gets connected to my inner gut. So when I did all of those things that I was supposed to be doing, and one day I ended up having lunch with someone, and they told me to go and have a sacred uh what was it, sacred geometry class, and I was told that I was a healer in this place. It was in Texas with a curandera by the name of Star Fuentes. And I get to this place, people are doing what we now would think is energy work, healing. And I was told to sit down, I'm a healer, do this. And it turned out that I was able to just pass through or move through a lot of energy. Um, it was just something very innate, nothing that I was taught, just very innate. So I went through a process of looking for a language for what it is that I do. And it took me quite a bit, but I will say this, that I did have yoga as part of my initial
Mm.
background, because at 12 years old, I somehow picked up a book on yoga, and I would practice those things. I guess it could have been my connection with gymnastics, because I did gymnastics when I was younger.
I do too. I do
Yeah.
too.
I think a lot of gymnasts and actors, they gravitated to that sort of thing. So I started. I got my Reiki certification. It wasn't quite right because there was no name for whatever it was that I did. So I just kept searching and searching and searching, and I have this big piece of me that is very skeptical. And so I would turn away so many different things that felt inauthentic. And I just needed to find out more and more and more. When I was in massage school, I found Ayurveda. And prior to that, though, I had connected with my cousin, who was a Chinese medicine doctor who had studied in a little with a guy who barely spoke Chinese. And he would tell me things about myself, and that's really sent me into the exploration of my own personal health. But what I would respond to him back was, well, I feel the needle going all the way down, and I would draw the meridian line. So I was really connected with the energy of my body, the energy of the world. And but Chinese medicine just seemed foreign to me, so I never went there. There was something about it that was just like too far.
Mhm.
So when I finally did land on Ayurveda, it felt like I came home,
Yeah.
and it just kept drawing me in and drawing me in, and I've just been on this path ever since. And I think that there's a word called vidya, which is very connected
Mhm.
to a goddess word, but what vidya is wisdom. And Ayurveda is this natural wisdom that we can all tap into. And that's how I got here, through that intuition. And yeah, the thing about when I'm healing, I could feel their pain or know what's going on with them. And I had to learn boundaries around that, which
Mhm.
is something that I think I'm going to bring it back to all women. I think all women need to figure those boundaries out, because we're never taught things like how to say no. And yet we also have this open channel to our children and to our family. And we need to get to that understanding of what belongs to us and what does not belong to us, and what do we act on and what we do not act on. But unfortunately, that connection sometimes spreads to the world, other people, the job, the boss, the, employees,
Hmm.
colleagues, whatever it is. So to get those boundaries in is really important.
Oh my gosh. I'm signing up for that masterclass. Just let me know. I'll keep I'll keep hanging out in the
Previous incarnation, but when you talk to me, I bring those in those types of things in when you do a one-on-one with me. I bring in so many different aspects of my life because I've been through many incarnations in this incarnation, and I think that that's what assisted me in that Ashtanga Hridayam group. Was I was bringing in all of that as well, because Ayurveda is not solely one tradition based. It was born there, but it expanded so much to all of
oh,
us.
I love it. Wow, there's so much to dive into here. I love what you're sharing, especially with a one-on-one. I think a lot of times when I do one-on-ones, I boundaries are incredibly powerful for me, and it has developed for me with every person that I work with, and it's so helpful as a guide to have great boundaries and to teach them because then the person you're working with can be their own guide. That's what we're doing all the time, right? So to draw that guide out, that personal leadership, it's miraculous to do. So I love that you mentioned that part about boundaries because without good boundaries, it's hard to be your own guide, you know, because you need to understand your own fortitude and your own strength to be able to move yourself through things. Um, I want to mention that you do have this wonderful Facebook group. I love it. Tell us the name of it.
So it's Menopause No More, Ayurvedic
Yes.
Sisterhood. And Menopause No More is basically about women sharing their experiences, women understanding how we can move through menopause utilizing Ayurvedic tools. And my guideline is menopause is inevitable, but the symptoms are totally optional. So that's really the guide. That's where I want women to understand that they don't have to go through it this way.
Hmm.
Yes, you're going to go through it. Great. It's a rite of passage, right? And all rites of passages are not very comfortable. That's the
It's
way
true.
it is. But
Now it's true.
it doesn't matter what tradition, male, female, boy, yeah, whatever that rite is, not comfortable, but you're meant to grow and flourish out of it. And that's my hope for this group, is that women talk and they flourish from, the experience that we're connected with in there. So that's
It's
basically.
wonderful. I know I like it a lot. And I love the lessons that you share inside just to help ground folks down in the experience. Because I do know that a lot of the women that I work with, especially perimenopausal women, there's so much confusion and there's an acceptance that needs to happen. You know, finding a community like this is really empowering, not only for yourself, but to share in the community and connect with others to just let other women know your own story, just so they can identify with it and support you, right?
And yeah, and I think there are quite a few menopause communities out there. And I think one of the things that's unique about this one, yes, Ayurveda, that is the unique thing. But there are so many women who are looking for a quick fix or to it, and this is not that group. This is not, you're not going to find a quick fix, because a quick fix is a pill that will suppress or eliminate certain symptoms, but it won't help you take that boat through life so that you can become who you have always meant to be, where you're coming back to the self so that you can create something new. Um, I think that group I started while I was in menopause, and becoming a doctor of Ayurveda, I became much later in life. I am 62 right now. So I became a doctor
Mhm.
at 61, and, so there's so much life ahead. So just if women can take this boat with others and find that it's not so horrible, as it can be, and do it naturally with natural foods, with natural exercises, like your face yoga type thing.
Mhm.
I'm going to challenge you now to
Oh, okay.
video. Put
Yeah,
a
no, I
video
love
for
it.
menopause women on that. I think it would
Yeah,
be
I
so
will.
awesome so that they can, we don't recognize our bodies, right? So if we can start recognizing and being comfortable with our faces and defining
Yes.
them, I think I would love for you to do that, please.
Oh yeah, I'm going to. I'm so excited. I thank you for the invitation. I just want to just first of all, I just want to salute you. Like 61, you became an Ayurvedic doctor. Like that's so awesome. And it's also, like, yeah, you did that. And thank you for doing that to show other women that they can do things. I have just sort of hit my stride in my 50s. Like, I am doing things I would have never imagined. I'm being interviewed by people I would have never imagined. I am doing like a modeling work. Like,
I'm
what?
so proud of you. How
What? Like, I would
fabulous. That's so
have never
great.
imagined it. Like, it's like I never imagined something like that could happen. And that is truly, I feel like when you do get grounded in the simplicity of your body, acknowledging what's happening, moving through it naturally. I mean, I guess probably the biggest reason I studied Ayurveda is I was going through perimenopause when I met you, and I was like, I don't know, I have to do this. Like, there's energetically, I knew I needed to do it, and it was really for self-preservation. I think, like, I was channeling in to this amazing natural science that has grounded, you know, since time immemorial, humans, women, men, and everything, children, elders. And I just, I love that it can be so empowering for women, especially as we get older. Um, so tell me, Menopause No More, it goes beyond the Facebook group, right?
Yes. So I run a program, which is a one-on-one program where women can spend 12 to 13 weeks with me. It depends
Mm-hmm.
on the scheduling. And we work through all of the things that a woman needs in order to reduce or eliminate the symptoms of menopause and to set them up for a healthy post-menopause period, which can last for 20, 30, 40 years, so that your mind, your body, your spirit is all in alignment. Even your day is in alignment. Your stress levels are reduced, so that you can move through this rite of passage. You're still going to move through it. We're not going to do an anti-aging kind of thing, but we're going to be present in our lives today and figure out ways of how to live and have new dreams and have new ways of being. And this is all done through Ayurveda. And I'm going to just add this little piece into it. You're going to do a lot of work should you come working with me, but we're going to fit Ayurveda into your life, not the other way around. Because a lot of times you'll hear Ayurveda, been there, done that. It's so hard. because we're trying to fit ourselves into an ancient culture, and an
Mm-hmm.
ancient way of being. So what Menopause No More is we adapt to you. If you still have kids in the house, or someone that you need, your family that you're cooking for or with, that we adapt things so that it works for you. And it's a pretty amazing program. We've had
I love
several
it.
people just running through it. Ah, wonderful.
I love it. What I love about this program is that if you haven't lived an Ayurvedic lifestyle, there's no better time to start than when you're in perimenopause or menopause. Like, that's actually, if you didn't do it before, there's never a better time to start, right? But
There's
that in
never a better
particular,
time. Yeah.
never a better time, always. But perimenopause and menopause is a great time because it's this natural check system where your body is communicating to you in so many ways. And that's part of yoga and Ayurveda, to listen to your body's communication. And I can't imagine a better guide that you could be with. She's guided me, she's guided others through me, and I just love Chitra. And Chitra, I'd love for you to share a little bit about your practice in Albuquerque, because if you are local in Albuquerque, or if you want to fly in for the October Panchakarma event, how do people find you there? Is it all on your
So
website?
it's all on my website. The Panchakarma I haven't really spread far and wide that much. So Panchakarma is the deepest, most healing treatment that Ayurveda offers. Not everyone is eligible for Panchakarma. Some people need to start their practice before that and get some other levels down. But what panchakarma is that um, it will remove all of the toxins that are in the system. It will take the doshas and bring them back to their locations and reduce the doshas as well. And then we go through a rejuvenation process. So that's one of the main difference between Ayurveda and almost everything is that we do that rejuvenation. And so within Panchakarma, so that's in October. And if you want to get in touch with me, I think it's going to be on the show notes. And
Yeah,
I'll be happy to like chat with you, no pressure, just so that you can understand. Um, but within Panchakarma, there's some really awesome um, treatments that we have. So there are things like Abhyango, which is Ayurvedic massage, which works the entire lymphatic system, and it's just incredibly rejuvenating. There's Shirodhara, which is a head oiling. Uh,
mm-hmm.
I guess
Very
that's
good.
a good way to put it. Where what we're doing is we're working at the level of the mind, and we are relaxing and calming the head. So I do this for myself on a regular basis. I do this. Everyone
Oh
who
my
does it
God.
is like, please sign me up for the next one. Right now, I'm also doing Nasya treatments. So here in Albuquerque, and I'm not sure what's going on in California, but I know that the weather, the environment has changed. And so our allergy season is so much earlier now than it was even a year ago. And so this Nasya treatment treats all of the sinuses, and it treats the heart and the circulatory system. And it's another treatment that I have. So there are just many, many treatments out there that I'm doing. And those are all part of that Panchakarma treatment as well.
Wonderful. I know one person in my world who I want to refer them to you, so I'll do that after we talk.
Thank
And
you.
I want to just thank you so much for dropping in for this sweet conversation and sharing all that you're doing in the world. Is there anything else you'd like to share with the community?
Well, I'm going to have a grand opening. The grand opening in Albuquerque is actually on Thursday, the 18th, which happens to be Ganesha's birthday. in the United.
I
It doesn't
love
just
that.
happen to be. It was kind of,
I
but
know, a little line there.
that was so I'm having the grand opening in Albuquerque, but I will be having a grand opening, a virtual grand opening. And so maybe we can also work magic there with your face yoga,
Oh,
and
yeah. Oh,
offer
that's
that
good.
as part of the virtual um grand opening. So I'm really going to be celebrating for the rest of the year. It took me years and years and years to get to where I am right now. So I'm going to be celebrating for a while.
Yay.
And I
Oh
want you
my
guys to
gosh.
join me. Yeah.
Let's just not stop celebrating. I
I think that's a
I'm
good
so
plan.
I love it. I'm so thrilled for you, Chitra. I think all of your work is important and it's been very important to me personally. So thank you for sharing it with us a little bit today.
I'm so honored and
Namaste. Really
so
appreciate
happy
it.
for you.
I'm so excited. So I'll talk to you offline about the virtual group face
Yeah.
yoga. I'm so excited to be part of the group always, but especially to share something. It'd be so lovely. So thank you again for being
Thank
here,
you.
and we'll put all this information in the show notes so you can find Chitra and all of her offerings. And do drop in on the Facebook group. It's wonderful. Menopause No More. You can find it on the groups and Facebook, and we'll see you later. Thanks again. Bye bye
Thank you for
bye.
having me here.
So good. Oh, wait, hang on.